Good evening. My name is Marvin Anderson, and I chair the board of Reconnect Rondo. Excuse me. Communities from all corners of the nation are converging this weekend in St. Paul to announce a transformative endeavor to ignite a national restorative movement to reduce the residual negative impacts of transportation policy. This summit will serve as a catalyst and a gold standard wherein a community of practice will be established to foster collaboration, knowledge sharing, and an ongoing commitment to help. Furthermore, this summit represents togetherness. That change is not a product of isolation, but rather the fruit of our collective efforts. It's a reminder that when we come together, we have the capacity to move mountains, to make waves, to build bridges. Throughout history, the greatest strides toward progress have always been made when people join forces. When individuals put aside their differences and work together towards a common goal, remarkable transformations occur. Over 20 communities from across the United States, from California to New York, are with us here in St. Paul today and will be here for the next day and a half until Saturday afternoon. They are gathering to celebrate the work we are doing and, most importantly, the work that still needs to be done. Thank you.
Hello, Nadji Kirby, Nadjikirby. I'm Chief of Staff with COMTO headquarters. On behalf of the Conference of Minority Transportation Officials and our President, April Rye, we are delighted to partner on the successful execution of this inaugural gathering of diverse stakeholders who are all committed to learning from the past and ensuring our communities stay connected in the future. COMTO was born on the campus of Howard University, a historically Black college, and for 53 years, we have advocated for equity in transportation and infrastructure. Equity isn't everyone getting the same thing. It's everyone getting what they need. Transportation should be the great connector, not the great disconnector. In support of our mission, we are proud to support this one-of-a-kind gathering initiated by communities for communities. The first step at repairing harm done by past transportation policies is to ensure that all voices are represented in the decision-making process as these projects continue to take shape. So COMTO and our 38 chapters across North America are committed to supporting this initial summit and the ongoing community of practice that will ensure all stakeholders stay engaged and see these projects come to fruition. Appropriately, we are joined this week by leadership of our COMTO Minnesota chapter in support of the summit activities. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Ryan Daniel, RyanDaniel, CEO of St. Cloud Metrobus and President of the Minnesota Public Transportation Association, and also board member for COMTO Minnesota. Where transportation goes, the community grows. How do we improve accessible public transportation? Not just here in Minnesota, but nationwide. That's one of the goals here, this Reconnect Rondo Summit. We have people here from all over the United States who want to learn and share ideas, talk about best practices, because it is very important that we connect communities. People rely on us to get from point A to point B, whether that's by bus, by rail, transportation. How do we grow communities? This morning we had a wonderful session, our opening general session, where we talked about different challenges, we talked about stories, we talked about what we're doing here, not just locally, but statewide, to improve access with regards to transportation. We have another day and a half where we're going to continue that, share best practices, because we want not what happened to Rondo to happen ever again here in Minnesota or anywhere in the United States. So I'm glad to be part of this. Compton, Minnesota is glad to be part of this. And we're going to work together as a team and collaborate and share best ideas so we will all grow our communities one city at a time. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Winta Johannes, WINTAYOHANNES. I'm pleased to join you here from Portland, Oregon. I am the executive director of the Albina Vision Trust. We seek to develop 94 acres of Central City land to create a new neighborhood in Portland where belonging and joy is embedded into the very fabric of the city. We know that in Albina, where 4 out of 5 Black families lived, we are grappling with the history of urban renewal and these huge public works projects, which in our city took $1 billion of stolen wealth from the few years. Reconciling with that history and charting the path forward, we have been heartened to know that we have peers all over the country that are doing the exact same thing. So Mayor Carter this morning talked about a generation of people whose only inheritance is a collection of papers that says this is what was, or this is what used to be. I am so proud to stand here with many partners who are creating a new type of inheritance for generations of American children to come. And in doing so, we will demonstrate that city building is something that is a responsibility of us all, and that in doing so, transportation, which has divided and scarred and harmed our communities, can in fact be the very catalyst for rebuilding, reconnecting, and building a different kind of future where everybody is able to thrive, and one that we can be proud of. So thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm John Sevilles. I'm with the City of Detroit's Planning and Development Department, and I am here representing the I-375 Reconnecting Communities project. Our project is a joint effort that is led by the Michigan Department of Transportation with the support and partnership of the City of Detroit, as well as other community groups and organizations such as the Downtown Detroit Partnership. I-375, it's a project, as you know, many of you all have been gathered here, one that is born by a racist beginning, but that we're trying to use the opportunity to discover how do we reconnect the community. Community has to begin the process along with partnership politically and otherwise, just to begin to define what does reconnecting community mean? Who is this project for? What is the project? When does the project happen? Why does the project happen? All of the things that in approaching the project, everyone can become an expert in it. But one of the things that we are not surprised, but one of the things that we're coming across, at least in some of the engagement that we've had thus far, there are always new things that we need to consider, and we need to be malleable and flexible. We need to listen, We need to understand the language of the community going forward. I'm pleased to be here amongst such a fabulous group of people and organizations. And I do thank the Rondo community for welcoming us from across the country. We're eager to learn from you all and hopefully invite you all to visit Detroit as well. Thank you.
Greetings. My name is Naita Presley. N as in Nancy, I. E as in Edward, E as in Edward, T as in Tom, A. Presley, P as in Peter, R-E-S as in Sam, L-E-Y, or better known as in Elvis. I am the owner and principal of a consulting company called New Life Possibilities, LLC. Currently, I am the coordinator for the Rondo Roundtable under Reconnect Rondo here in St. Paul, of course. I welcome all of you across the country. Your stories in this first day has been extremely fascinating, and I'm hoping to take a lot of this information back to that Rondo Roundtable. The Rondo Roundtable was founded in 2015. It began as a steering committee of organizations and has grown to a collective of about 14 organizations and businesses. All are historic and African American led. We have both historic organizations that have been serving the Rondo community for eons, and we have many new organizations and businesses part of this collective. And Reconnect Rondo is one of those new ones. That we've come together to advocate, preserve, and promote the culture and the history of Rondo, of the Black community in Minneapolis and St. Paul region for much of the 20th century. The intact Rondo neighborhood was socially and economically active, as well as self-supportive. The core of Rondo was demolished between 1956 and 1968 to make way for the construction of I-94 freeway. As a collective, the Rondo Roundtable finds strength in numbers, finding strategic value in the whole. Rondo Roundtable Committee is committed to be in an ecosystem, not to act in silos, but supporting each other for the one cause to protect and further the District of Rondo. Before the freeway demolished or destroyed Rondo, the neighborhood embodied social, cultural, economic, civic, and the spiritual fabric of the Black community. As this collective, it is our commitment to preserve Rondo's rich history and promote its rewarding future. Thank you.
Hello, all. Just appreciate being a part of igniting a national restorative movement. This is so important that we've all gathered. There's much to learn and much to share. My name is Keith Baker, and I'm the Executive Director for Reconnect Rondo. When we think about Rondo, we also think about Detroit. When we think about Rondo, we think about Columbus, Ohio. When we think about Rondo, we think about Kansas City. When we think about Rondo, we think about New Orleans. When we think about Rondo, we think about Portland. When we think about Rondo, we think about Minneapolis. When we think about Rondo, we think about Seattle. When we think about Rondo, we think about Tampa. When we think about Rondo, we think about Baltimore. When we think about Rondo, we think about Austin, Houston, Virginia. The theme goes on. This is not just about Rondo. This is about the Black experience. And all of the workshops held here is intended to inform and to ignite a restorative movement. We're so thankful to have all of the various cities and communities as our guests in the city of St. Paul. So thank you so much for being here with us, and thank you all for joining us at this press conference.